Dragon Ball Daima has finally ended. This finale was some of the most bittersweet Dragon Ball that we have ever gotten. And I am wholly grateful for the fact that Toriyama was able to get this amazing project out before he passed. So Toriyama, thank you so much. Welcome back to Nerdstorm Entertainment, everybody. If this is your first time here, I am Nerdstorm, back with the last Dragon Ball Daima review video. And yes, this is Dragon Ball Daima episode 20, titled Maximum. But before we get started, if you're not already subscribed to me, be sure to go ahead and hit that subscribe button and then ring the bell to receive notifications so that way you know every time that I happen to upload a new video. And with that being said, let's not waste any more time. Now, for most of this episode, it was pure fighting. The episode literally started where we left off last time, where Goku literally just got done transforming into Super Saiyan 4. And yes, this form is officially named Super Saiyan 4, as we will see towards the end of the episode. And with the large portion of the beginning of this episode, where all of the fighting between Super Saiyan 4 Goku and Demon King Goma, a lot of this episode was animated by one of Toei's greatest animators. Yes, Naotoshi Shida. And I'm probably mispronouncing his name, but again, Shida has done some of the best work in Dragon Ball. A lot of fans who are deep into the animation and everything tend to be able to recognize when Shida's work pops up. So yes, this was amazing looking. Seeing Goku and Super Saiyan 4 go up against Goma was some of the best quality animation that we have seen in quite some time. These last few episodes of Dragon Ball Daima were going off, especially everything that we got to see from when Goku jumped in on the scene. Not saying that Vegeta didn't do good or some of his fights weren't animated very well, but everything with Goku and Super Saiyan 4 was animated beautifully. Goku definitely was putting in work a majority of this fight. He was giving Goma them good hands, as I always say, them good big old monkey paw hands that he has. And for most of this fight, Goku was literally wailing on Goma. He was literally punching Goma so hard at times to where his face was caving in quite a bit. And you could tell that Goma was getting pissed most of this fight because realistically, he could not keep up. There was a small handful of times to where Goma may have gotten a slight hit on Goku, but it didn't necessarily work. Goku just shrugged it off and just kept the fight up. And thankfully, he had enough stamina, like he said during the last episode, to be able to do this. So realistically, this isn't even Super Saiyan 4 at its full power, because we realistically have not seen Super Saiyan 4, the canon version of Super Saiyan 4 at least, at its max power, at full stamina. But regardless of that, Goku is still putting in work. And it's lovely to get to see Goku do so much damage to Goma. And though Goku is still putting damage on Goma, the third eye is still healing him, sadly, and is making him slightly stronger each time. But a lot of those times, it really just does not matter because Goku is still right there on him. Again, this is what I mean by if we got to see Goku at his max power at full stamina, he probably could have ended this a lot sooner. It even got to the point to where Goma manifested his little wand and was able to start shooting out a lot of these blasts, but Goku was not fazed by any of that. He still put the monkey paws on this man Goma and sent him flying multiple times. And one of my favorite parts is when Goku actually powered up and bulked up his chest and then just grabbed Goma around the waist and was just squeezing so hard. And Goma just did not like that, so he started sending a bunch of rocks toward himself and Goku just powered up through that and punched Goma in the gut so hard to the point to where he had to use the third eye to heal himself again, or at the very least restore his stamina. But even though this was happening, Goku was enjoying the fight. You can see the smile on this man's face. Again, this man is a Saiyan at heart. He loves battle. But the battle ended up continuing on, and again, Goku was putting in good work as a Super Saiyan 4. I cannot stress that enough. I thoroughly enjoyed this entire fight because there were so many moments to where you thought Goku might be getting knocked down, but no, Goku just shrugged it off and kept going. Even at times where Goku may have gotten thrown around, so to speak, he still kept going. Like the time where he got thrown into a mountain and Goma came flying after him and was sending all these crazy green and purple blasts flying towards Goku. Goku just simply just dodged him and got up out of there and just kept going. Again, fist clashing, face smashing. It was amazing. I thoroughly enjoyed this fight because there were so many callbacks to like little moves that we've known Goku to do throughout Dragon Ball's runtime, if you will. Like one of the fandom's favorite moves, mainly from the video games, is called Dragon Throw. And we got to see Goku Dragon Throw this man Goma around. It was so good. And something else that I noticed is the callback to the Broly movie, to where, you know, in the Broly movie, Goku essentially got his face dragged through a mountain by Broly. Goku was able to do the same thing to Goma during this fight. It was so good. I loved it. And again, it wasn't necessarily working because Goma was healing himself with the third eye. And it's at that point, that specific point, to where Goku reached up his hand and began to power up. You could see the electricity begin to form. This entire sequence was animated so beautifully. And then Goma was even startled. Goma started throwing a bunch of these blasts at Goku, and it just was not working. And then Goku just stopped. He was glowing. He had this white glow around him, and then he took a step, and then you could see his hands begin to form what we all know to be one of the greatest moves in all of anime. Yes, the Kamehameha. We got to see a true Super Saiyan 4 Kamehameha. Yes, we got to see one when he was technically in his kid mode, but now he's in his normal form, his adult form, if you will. And this looked so good. Every shot of this man Goku powering up that Kamehameha looked amazing. And then to see Goma even attempted to power up his own blast using the third eye, clearly that was not going to work. And then Goku fired the Kamehameha. This moment was such a nice callback to some of the old school Dragon Ball art of Goku firing his Kamehamehas. Again, this entire episode, and not just episode, honestly, this entire show, yes, you can sit there and say, oh, it's nostalgia bait, but there's nothing wrong with nostalgia bait. I don't understand why people will sit there and say, oh, Dragon Ball is just doing all this nostalgia. That doesn't make it good. I understand your point, but there's nothing wrong when you do it in the correct way. And I feel as if Dragon Ball did this in the correct way. All these callbacks in the correct way, and I loved it. And the reason why I say that is because not only did they do these nostalgic combats, but they were making their own thing. This show was doing its own thing while doing these nostalgic callbacks. It's not as if it was literally just copy and pasting the old stuff. No, this is literally its own thing, its own story, and it's just bringing elements from previous Dragon Ball series, previous Dragon Ball moments into it, and that's what I loved about Daima. That's what I loved about this episode. But again, Goku firing this Kamehameha looked so good. And something that I was speaking to a friend about is I wish that we could have seen a ×10 Kamehameha just like we used to see in GT, but sadly we didn't. But I think there was definitely small hints of that within this Kamehameha because you could see red streaks throughout the Kamehameha beam. So you could definitely see not only how powerful this Kamehameha was, but again, the callbacks to the ×10 Kamehameha from Dragon Ball GT. And when the beam clashed, Goma could not hold it back. That thing got pushed through. Goku was able to quite literally gut Goma. The blast went completely through him. And when it did that, it went all the way through all of the demon worlds. Goku essentially made a new tunnel through all the demon worlds. And this entire sequence, again, was animated so beautifully. If there's one thing you could say about Dragon Ball Daima, is that the animation was the best that Dragon Ball has ever looked within its anime form. And yes, that's over Dragon Ball Super. I know a lot of people love Dragon Ball Super, but Dragon Ball Super animation has nothing at all on any episode of Dragon Ball Daima. Even the slow episodes of Dragon Ball Daima where they're not necessarily doing a whole lot, those episodes are animated better than the slow episodes in Dragon Ball Super. Dragon Ball Super suffered, as I stated before in previous reviews, Dragon Ball Super suffered because of poor planning. And if we ever get Dragon Ball Super back, I hope that they are able to plan out and animate way ahead of time, just like they did with Dragon Ball Daima. I really do. But after the blast clears, we see Goma in awe at the fact that he sat there and got a hole blasted through his stomach. And then it's at that point that he begins to fall back down to the ground. And Piccolo seizes the moment to go in and hit him in the back of the head 3 times. But sadly, when he attempts to hit him the 3rd time, he gets punched to the ground. And Goma realizes what they were trying to do. The third eye begins to bounce, but clearly it wasn't enough to get removed. So Goma begins to power up essentially and heal himself. It's at that point that everybody attempts to rush him. Goku, everyone that was there watching. But Goma uses the third eye to essentially cause this barrier with the arena that they were fighting in around himself. And he completely ends up healing himself. This scene where he's healing himself was pretty dope because you could see it closing and you could see everybody's face through this hole. And then in the last second, you see Goku just astonished. And then it's at that point, in the midst of it all, Majin Buu holding that book that Arensu told him to get. And as he's getting blown by Goma, he tries to go in for the hit. And this man is the one to actually do it. He hits Goma 3 times in the back of the head, causing the evil third eye to pop out. And it's at that point that everything shatters, everything tends to lose its aura, essentially. The evil third eye falls to the ground and Goma begins to shrink. And then the moment that the evil third eye stops rolling, Gloria walks up to it and steps on the evil third eye, destroying it. And then that's when everybody's relieved. We see Goma in his little form just laying there all tuckered out like a baby. It was so crazy. And then we see Majin Buu just smiling, saying, "What? Why can't I finish things off?" And then Pansy's like, "Yeah, you were amazing, Majin Buu." Everybody's excited, everybody's happy, and they're giving Majin Buu all the praise. Goma is officially defeated. And then Majin Buu walks up to Arensu. This moment was so heartwarming. He walks up to Arensu and she gives him the, "Okay, you did a great job. I love that." And then essentially we look up and see Goku smiling. Everybody's thankful for Goku doing what he did. And Goku ends it with, "Looks like everything worked out." And of course, Vegeta's salty. He just turns his head because why? Goku has another transformation that he doesn't. And I love that fact. I love the fact that Vegeta does not have this transformation. It warms my heart to see Vegeta mad. It really does. But I digress. The episode continues as Neva's talking to Goma after he's been contained, saying, "Your reign as the Supreme Demon King was short." And then obviously Goma is a little mad about that and thinking, "Aren't you supposed to be senile?" And then that's when Marba and Arensu essentially bring out this container and telling Goma that you'll spend the next 100 years in here. And it's at that point that Arensu brings out Degasu, saying that he will join him in this container. And then Marba begins to use her magic to essentially seal Degasu and Goma within this container. And this entire sequence looked very, very, very similar to the Mafuba, the evil containment wave, or the demon containment wave, whichever translation you want to use. So that means that more than likely the Mafuba, that technique came from the demon realm. How it did, that's yet to be seen, whether or not they eventually explain it or whatever the case may be. Somehow it came from the demon realm, because clearly this looked almost exactly like the Mafuba, except for it's not green, it's purple. But it's literally using the exact same properties, and it's used to seal someone. So once they're sealed in there, Marba tells Goku that they're gonna spend the next 100 years in there, and there's a small garden and all sorts of games for them to use in there. And then you can hear Goma and Degetsu arguing with each other in there. And then it's at that point that Shin essentially asks Arensu, "Are you gonna become the next Supreme Demon King, since you essentially outrank everybody here?" And Shin essentially sees that she does retain some form of conscience. She's not all bad. But Arensu essentially tells him, "Let me be clear, my ambitions haven't changed one bit." And then that's when Neva pops up saying that, "Wasn't your ambitions to have a terrifying demon realm that rivals the outside world?" And then that's when Arensu says that she essentially refuses the role, and that the way that she wanted to become the Supreme Demon King was with the Dragon Balls, and if she can't do that, then obviously somebody's going to be able to easily overthrow her. And then that's when Neva's like, "That's right, the one who defeats the Supreme Demon King is the first one in line to succeed him." And then that's when everybody's surprised, because guess who did it actually? Was Majin Buu. Yes, Majin Buu accepts the role to become the Supreme Demon King. This literally threw me off. I was for sure that it was either going to be Arensu or somehow it was going to be Gloria. It was going to be one of those two, but clearly it's Majin Buu. I actually enjoy this because it actually gives Majin Buu something to do. And then crazy enough, he chooses Arensu to be his vice demon king. And he says that, "I'm a great judge of character." I love the fact that he is now going to be the Supreme Demon King, especially when he goes around complimenting her and then essentially saying who's going to be different ministers. He appoints Majin Buu to be a minister, Marba Neva to be one. He even appoints Glorio and King Caden to all be ministers. I love this entire sequence because you can really see how good-hearted Majin Buu truly is. And I genuinely feel this is because when Arensu got the pieces of Majin Buu during the Buu saga, she clearly didn't get Kid Buu's pieces. She got Fat Buu's pieces, which again, those were the good Buu essentially. Yes, he still had the evil in him at that time, but still. And then that's when he goes up to Goku and the gang, asks them, do any of them want to be ministers? And then Goku's like, nah, we gotta go home. And then Goku turns around and is like, anybody else? And then my favorite character within Daima, yes, Hybis, says, yes, I'll be one. And then that's when Majin Buu's like, all right, that's it. So whether or not Hybis is gonna be a minister, that's yet to be seen. I really do hope he ends up being a minister. And then lovely enough, that's when we see Majin Buu go to grab Arensu's hand and tells her, let's work to make the demon realm a scary yet good place to live. And that was definitely nice to see how that particular storyline ended. And that's when we cut to the third demon realm where everybody's packing everything up. Bulma's able to get the Magilite from Pansy that Pansy promised her, and she essentially stole this Magilite from Goma's castle. So it's definitely cool to see that story thread actually get tied off. And then crazy enough, we get to see an interaction between Goku and Vegeta, and I love this. Vegeta states, I still could have won, which I feel as if they had gone in there fresh, that may definitely have been the case, that he still could have definitely put in some work. I think he was probably barely as strong or stronger than Goma. I don't know if Vegeta would have necessarily have won, but we all know how Vegeta is, especially at this point in the story. And even Goku kind of gets on that. He's like, you're still on it? I get it already. And then that's when Vegeta says, you were keeping that transformation a secret from me. And then yes, again, as I stated earlier, Goku specifically calls the Super Saiyan 4. I love that they actually are calling the Super Saiyan 4 and not some crazy name like Demon Super Saiyan or whatever the case. But yes, I love that fact. Vegeta's still salty about he does not have this transformation, and we'll probably never see Vegeta in this transformation, and I actually like that fact. This is Goku's transformation. But then Goku explains that Buu was really strong, so he trained a lot after defeating him. And again, remember, this was only a few months. This is only about 6 months after the defeat of Kid Buu. So it only took Goku 6 months to train to get up to here. And that just shows you how strong Goku truly was at this point. But Goku also states that he was sure that it wouldn't work though. And then Vegeta, of course, brings that tired old argument of it's like a bargain sale for Super Saiyans. And then Goku brings up the point, it's like, but didn't you turn into Super Saiyan 3? And then of course, Vegeta's salty about it. So salty to the point where he tells him to shut up, and he says, it's not Super Saiyan 3, it's Ultra Vegeta 1. He tries to sit there and name his own Super Saiyan form. Like, come on, bro. Like, we all know it was Super Saiyan 3. You lost your eyebrows. Get over it. And then Goku just flies off. I was like, what the heck is that? I loved it. And then another little thread that they tied off is Neva, Piccolo, and Dende all discuss it. And essentially Neva is asking the both of them, will they stay in the demon world? And obviously they have their own duties on Earth. So obviously they decide to go back. But Dende states that he will tell the Namex that essentially lost their planet during the whole Frieza incident about the demon realm and their history, because they've essentially been reduced to Nomads. Yes, they have new Namek, but still it would be nice for them to essentially see their homeland. And then Dende says he's sure they'll welcome the idea, and Neva says, I'll look forward to that as I wait here. And the episode essentially ends on all of that. It was definitely good to see everything this show had to offer. We begin to wave goodbye to everybody, and the group flies off. And that's when we begin to hear the music playing. And technically the episode ended there, but there was a quote unquote post-credit scene where Goku essentially asked Glorio to go back to the shop where they got the metabugs from, right? Because they're running low on senzu beans. And remember, senzu beans technically came from the demon realm. So once they get there, the shop lady recognizes Goku, sees how they actually grew up and everything, right? And then while they're looking at different metabugs, we see Bulma looking at this bug that'll essentially age her back 10 years. She's disgusted at first until she hears the explanation, and that's when she decides to take all of them. And then as that's happening, Pansy walks around and she sees this jar that's in the back. She begins to dust it off and she recognizes what's in the jar. And then that's when the shopkeeper tells her that those are Tartarian oculuses. Yes, oculuses, called evil third eyes. And then she begins to tell the group how the evil third eye works, and that she had 3 of them, but they're pretty suspicious and pricey, so I only managed to sell 1 long ago. If you want one, I'll give you a discount. And then that's how the episode ends. everybody's astonished that this was just something that they could just come and buy if they really wanted to. It's crazy. It's crazy. Of course, the episode ends off on some random joke. I love it. That's classic Toriyama. And again, that was it. That was Toriyama's last project. I thoroughly enjoyed this, and I hope you did as well. Please let me know what your thoughts about this episode are in the comment section. And if you enjoyed the video, please be sure to go ahead and hit that subscribe button and then ring the bell to receive notifications, so that way you know every time that I happen to upload a new video. And if you enjoyed the content that I put out here, I also post short form content on all my socials. Any social that you're on, I'm more than likely there as well, at NerdStorm92. It doesn't matter if it's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Blueski, or whatever platform it is, I'm there at NerdStorm92. And then I try to stream every Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that's twitch.tv/NerdStorm92. If you want to catch me live and come chill, be sure to go ahead and click that link in the description, twitch.tv/NerdStorm92. And with that being said, again, let me know what your thoughts about this episode are in the comment section, because I know I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was bittersweet to get Toriyama's final project and the final episode to air on the 1-year anniversary of his passing. That was a bittersweet ending. I couldn't have asked for a better show to go out on this. So again, Toriyama, thank you so much. Rest in peace. We appreciate your work. You quite literally brought Dragon Ball back into the limelight these past 10 or so years, and it has been a joy to sit here and watch all of your work all over again. It has quite literally brought my inner child and made my inner child happy all over again. So again, we thank you, because I know I'm not the only one. So again, y'all, let me know how y'all thought about this episode in the comment section. Y'all continue to have a great rest of your day. I will catch you in next week's video, where essentially we're going to review all of Dragon Ball Daima as its own separate entity. With that being said, I'll catch you in that video. Peace.